I think I'm losing my mind, trying to stay inside the lines. It's like you're running in place.
Switch it up.
Japan recently hosted a robotic competition as a part of the World Robot Summit event. One of the tasks for the student teams was to program the robots to independently clean a random room. One of the current problems in Japan is aging populations, and the government as well as corporations are expected to solve it with the help of smart home robots. Boston Dynamics introduced Spot Release 3.0. And what are these new things the robot can do now? Well, in brief, Spot can now reschedule the route to bypass unexpected obstacles, independently conduct inspections at the designated operator time, including with a delayed start function, and choose the best route to a given point, and also open doors with a fire lock manipulator. Another added feature is the ability to simultaneously view video from the front and rear cameras of the robot on a split screen. Also, the robot can shoot a scene each time from the same camera position, so it's easier for the operator to compare the results of inspections. The developers empathized that despite seemingly small changes, they had to completely rework the way the robot plans its route and collects its data. The new version of Spot covers all the questions and needs of the company's first customers. The dream of creating a smart and useful humanoid robot does not leave the developers. Another startup trying to create one was Unlimited Robotics, which introduced its two-armed service robot, Gary. To make Gary smart and useful and faster, the company launched the Raya developer platform, and with it, in theory, the robot can be taught anything you want. And while it's hard to refrain from being skeptical about another big and probably expensive robot, it will be interesting to see what it can learn. Stay tuned for more news about Gary. Agility Robotics said it's developing artificial intelligence for the Digit robot and has already created an early version. Engineers want to make the robot a multifunctional machine, and that means it should be able to perform a set of tasks in almost any environment. To do this, Digit first calculates its physical ability to perform a task, and then it evaluates its environment around it and calculates the optimal sequence of actions and navigation. Researchers from the Japan Advanced Institute of Science and Technology and the University of Tokyo have introduced a compact robotic limb, OGLIMB, which should extend the capabilities of our bodies. The device can be mounted on the user's shoulders and uses a double-layered scissor block for an extending mechanism that is 2.5 times the length of the forearm. The OGLIMB is lightweight, durable, and partially self-contained. What do you think of this development? Ahold Delhaize and Airlab are recruiting a team of engineers to create a useful retail robot. The robot should be able to, for example, carry out food placement in a conventional store environment while remaining safe for humans. The research is based on the TaiGo robot developed by PAL Robotics. TaiGo is a mobile robotic platform that's used for research at universities and innovation centers around the world. It has an arm with 7 degrees of movement, a raised torso, and a tilt and turn head. Its open source software and modular hardware architecture make TaiGo easily customizable and adaptable for different purposes. Transcend Robotics presented an answer to the question of how to teach a crawler robot to traverse steps and other high obstacles. Tracked robots are more stable than legged robots, but less mobile. Now that problem seems to be solved. True, in increasing obstacles, the robot seems to have to get longer and longer. Soft Robotics has introduced Soft AI, an intelligent system for accelerating the adoption of robotics in the food industry. Soft AI augments traditional industrial robots with true hand-eye coordination, helping them perform tasks normally designed for an actual human. The company hopes this innovation will finally lead to widespread adoption of automation in the food supply chain, allowing for higher volumes and lower cost as well as lower waste. A Japanese professor famous for his humanoid robots has finally raised about $5 million in funding to launch his own production of robotic avatars. The new company is called Avita. Expect news from the company and widespread distribution of the avatars in Japan and around the world. The Japanese company A-Town showed tests of a prototype exoskeleton that allows a person to ride on the floor and climb stairs while still carrying heavy loads. During the testing, the developers showed the exoskeleton's transformation between riding and walking modes. The EKoMTV exoskeleton only helps the lower body. It consists of 2 legs with supports for the person's legs and a waist structure, to which the person is secured by straps. The legs have retractable wheels at the front as well as stationary ones under the heels. And on the waist, there are handles with controllers with which the person controls the movements. In particular, they can be used to switch between modes, which is shown in this demonstration. RE2 Robotics is developing an underwater mine-diffusing system. The company has received $9.5 million from the United States Navy's Office of Naval Research for this. The program, called the Marine Mine Neutralization System, will use the RE2 Sapien C-class system to accurately place and attach neutralization devices to underwater mines and improvised explosive devices in the water. The RE2 Sapien C-class arms have compact, rugged electromechanical design with human maneuverability, 7 degrees of freedom per arm, and neutral buoyancy. The combination of these key technologies provides superior strength and precision when manipulating neutralization devices. The robot will also use RE2 Detect computer vision software to detect underwater targets and RE2 Intellect to autonomously and accurately place devices on those targets. The UN has proposed a moratorium on the use of certain artificial intelligence technologies that are serious threats to human rights. And these include, for example, face scanning systems that track people in public places and government social assessment systems that separate people into groups. The report also raises concerns about tools that try to determine people's emotional and mental states by analyzing their facial expressions or body movements. Experts have emphasized such technologies are subject to bias, misinterpretations, and have no scientific basis.
And the Honolulu Police Department provided an update on its newest tool, a robot dog. Spot, the $150,000 robot purchased earlier this year, is used to screen individuals at homeless sites on Oahu. HPD says since the start of the pandemic, the sites have taken in more than 1,700 homeless individuals and have had only 14 positive COVID cases. They believe the mitigation procedures put in place and other technologies such as Spot have helped keep the numbers down.
Having the ability to deploy something that can do all the interaction with someone on a mobile platform and take the possibility of transmission out of the equation, for me, I really don't think that over the long term, $150,000 is a waste.
Spot is able to take a person's temperature from 7 feet away in a fraction of a second. It also has two-way communication capability and can deliver PPE, food, and water to someone who does test positive for COVID.